सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We can chant the first verse together. Nirupama. Together, yeah. Nirupama nitya niramshakepya khande Mai chiti sarva vikalpanadishunye Tuyati Tvaghatita ghatana patiyasi maya. This is we have seen this a little bit, most of it, but little bit is left to see. Starts with the Swarupa Lakshana of this Atma, which is Brahman, which is the truth of myself, which is myself alone. And so this Atma, this I, who is what? Who is all these things we saw yesterday. Incomparable, without a second, the only thing there is, partless, and not subject to sajatiya, vijatiya, swagata bhedaha, not subject to any kind of divisions, differentiations. Api, even though. Api means also, but here the meaning is not also, it is although. Although that is the reality, still, api tarhi, even though that is the reality, what happens? Aghatita ghatana patiyasi maya. Somehow one has got into this gadbad. That is the best way to describe it. Some kind of a gadbad is there. What is this gadbad? Gadbad means gadbad means something that suddenly happens, you don't know why, you don't know how. So here I am a Vedantin. I have been studying Shastra. And when I snore, the Vakyas of the Upanishad come in the out breath. In fact, that's the description of Bhagwan. Yasya nishvasitam vedaha. So let's say I have been studying Vedanta so much. But still, even though I'm marinating in Vedanta, still what? Somehow, like little scratch on the little finger. Ayo, make it go away. There is this owie, ouch. And you hold the finger like that all day long, kiss it, hug it, and make everybody kiss it. Even though I know this. Somebody turn on this fan if you don't mind. I don't know where the switch is. Yeah. So, this is the situation. And so how does this happen? Aghatita ghatana patiyasi maya. Yesterday I said cleverer. You see, like in English, we have, what is that, comparative and then superlative. Comparative means what? Like good. And what is the comparative? Gooder. Am I correct? No. Better, because English doesn't make any sense. It's not like Sanskritam. Sanskritam, everything is predictable. English, there is no connection, nothing. So you don't say good, gooder, goodest. You don't say that. You say what? Good, better, best. So there are two ways in Sanskritam of expressing the comparative and superlative. One is very easy, especially if one is a beginner. So if you want a foolproof way of saying better, best, etc., Then for better you add tara. Then no changes. Tara. The stem, the word stem does not undergo any change when the pratyaya, the suffix tara is added. And then if you want to express the word best, then what do you add? Tama. Tara and tama. Tarap, tamap. And then a little more complicated way of expressing the same thing is with two more pratyayas, iyasun and ishthan. Okay? So that makes the word stem undergo certain changes. Thankfully, we don't want to do that right now. Okay? Otherwise, it will become a grammar class. So, iyasun becomes iyas, and then the ishthan becomes ishtha. Like guru, gariyas. You don't say guriyas, okay? Guru, gariyas. And then garishtha. Guru, heavy, heavier, gariyas, heaviest, garishtha. Okay? So similarly, patu. Patu means chaturaha, clever. Patiyas. And then patishtaha. Okay? So here, oh, but there is nothing that I can recognize. See if you can recognize that in the second line. What is there? Patiyasi. Why? Maya, it has to go with the feminine. So you feminize the word to go with Maya. The word Maya is also feminine. So, patiyasi, cleverer. Why can't you say patishtha? Patishtha Maya, you should have said. The author should have said, because it's the cleverest of all. Two reasons. Cleverer means cleverer than you. That's why comparative. You think you can overcome Maya? No, 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 not so fast. She is cleverer than you. But if he had said, if the author had said Patishtha Maya, then there would have been another problem. She would have become cleverer than Ishvara also. No. This is what. So, how does she accomplish the impossible? How does she make the impossible possible? And for this, we have seen Maya and her effects from the standpoint of the individual Vyashti Jiva. She manifests as Ajnanam. Now, to see how she makes the impossible possible, we have to see Maya from the standpoint of the Samashti, the collective. And from that standpoint, we say there are two powers. Shaktidvayam. What are the two Shaktis? One is to keep you in the dark. This is called Avarna Shakti. Avarna. The so-called covering power. They say veiling power. Veiling means what? Like a veil. Covering, same thing. And of course, with Indian English, there is no difference between W and V. So we say veiling power, that's also okay, because she makes us all wail. Okay? Yeah, wail means cry. So the covering power, and we have to always add as though, okay? Yeah, the as though covering power, Avarna Shakti. But what does she cover? You. She covers you. From who? From you. She covers the fact that you are Nirupama, Nirguna, and although Nitya, Niramshaka, Vikalpana, Shunya, all this, you have to bring that in. She covers that. That's why it's called the veiling power. And then the second power that she has on the collective level is what? Vikshepa, the power of projecting. So not only she covers that you who is one with Ishvara, one with everything, one with the Jagat, There is in fact no Jagat because it is an extension of you alone. She covers that, the mithyatvam of everything from you. Not only that, she projects the one as though into many. This is the projective power, Vikshepa Shakti. So if you go outside, how many mountain ranges? So many ranges. They all have names. They all are in the geography books. How much, what is the height, what is the name of each range, what is the name of each mountain, everything will be there. And then you look at rivers, how many bodies of water, so many things from the Saraswati which flows underground, which is not visible, to all the rivers which are named, and maybe they may be new rivers. The rate at which the glaciers are melting thanks to climate change, they may be new rivers, and they will also gain names, and there is no end. Similarly, you see the aquatic life, more and more discoveries are being done in the kinds of deep sea creatures. Now they have submarines and probes to look at deep sea creatures. Deep sea aquatic creatures don't need eyes because there is no light there. So Bhagavan says, one less thing to create, doesn't matter. No eyes. But they have to be seen they have to be seen in other ways, because how will they protect themselves and from other predators? So all of them are iridescent, neon. In fact, one of them looks like a table lamp. It was very ironic, very interesting. So one of them looked like a kind of a magenta, deep pink table lamp. So new creatures, it's not that they are new, they were there, but now we have the probes to be able to see this. Maya accommodates everything. Vikshepa Shakti. This is on the collective level. On the collective level, what is the troublemaker? Is it Vikshepa Shakti of Bhagavan? Or is it the Avarana Shakti? Avarana Shakti. Vikshepa is, it's just there. Each thing is different from another thing. Why should it bother me? It bothers me because I don't have an understanding of my own nature. That's why it bothers me. That's why I am susceptible to sorrow, to fear, to anxiety, because the Vikshepa bothers me because I don't know who I am. The individual jiva also, not to be outdone, has these two Shaktis, is equipped with these two Shaktis. Satyamidam. Individual also has Avarana Shakti, which looks slightly different, and Vikshepa Shakti. What is Avarana Shakti what is the manifestation of the Avarana Shakti at the individual level? It is the seeds of all the difficult emotions in the form of memories, in the form of early childhood pains, hurts, etc. I don't know it is there. Mother drops the child from a flight of stairs. Boing, 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 boing. Dum. Child lands. Child is 8 months old. Doesn't remember anything. But still has a inexplainable fear of heights. Fear of heights means what? Even if the person wears high heels, they are afraid. So much the fear of height is there. You ask the person what happened, and let's say the parents are not immediately around. You ask the person what happened. I don't know what happened. But I can't stand heights. There is a reason. And that fear of heights, the cause of the fear of heights is hidden from that jiva completely. This is called the unconscious, which is the storehouse of all difficulties, difficult memories, fears, pains, sorrows, everything. unconscious mind, that is avarna. Ishvara Srishti. This is Ishvara's doing. I did not make the avarna. Ishvara, in order to protect me, Ishvara's vikshepa is my avarna. Do you understand? Very, very interesting. The project, Ishvara has projected this. Ishvara has projected the fact that my pains and sorrows be hidden from me, especially when one is a child. Because the child doesn't have the wherewithal, brain has not developed, emotional maturity is not there to handle these pains and sorrows. So the child has to grow up smiling, it has to pursue its education, it has to do everything properly. And therefore these things are hidden, avarna. That's why people say all the time, I was perfectly normal. And then I got into a conversation. And then suddenly I got angry. Something coming out of the unconscious mind, hidden from me. So the unconscious mind, we don't have to get rid of that. We just have to integrate it. That's what it's also called in psychological parlance. Another word is there, inner child. It has to be integrated into the adult. It has to be loved up, processed. Anger happens, pain happens, sorrow happens. There is a reason. I may not know the reason, but I have to be Ishvara for that anger, for that pain. I have to be the parent, apparently. And I have to be the parent and I have to love it up. I have to have that same sakshita, sakshi bhava to that pain and sorrow. I have to observe it and let it neutralize. So this is avarna at the individual level. And because of this avarna, because I don't know who I am and because of all the pains and sorrows, there is what? Projection. Oh, this person is looking suspicious. This happens even unconsciously. There is a projection. I am walking on the road and then somebody I see coming and then immediately I doubt them. I see people doing this all the time. Somebody is walking, this lady is walking. One man is coming from the opposite direction. And the lady, without even thinking, she may be in a conversation with her husband or her friend, but she will clutch her handbag a little tighter, keep it a little closer. Why? Unbeknownst to herself, she has participated in the vikshepa, meaning her own projection. And what is that projection? This man must be a bad man. This man must not be up, he is up to no good. He must be after my handbag. So the handbag she clutches a little tighter. Vikshepa. Somebody says, hello. And then immediately the other person suspects. Why are you saying hello? No, I just said hello. Why? What do you want from me? I don't want anything from you. I just wished you good morning. Okay, no. Who are you to wish me? I don't even know you. This is all projection. The raw material for this projection is what? Avarna at the Vyashti level. You have to be very, very clear. The Vyashti Avarna and Vikshepa are what? Different from the Samashti Avarna and Vikshepa. So from the standpoint of Bhagavan, nothing touches Bhagavan. Neither the Avarna, if Bhagavan is not subject to Avarna, and Vikshepa becomes a Leela. Just play. We saw that in the last class very well. Nothing touches. No matter how much the Bhagavan does, nothing happens. Bhagavan keeps doing. Even though there is nothing for Bhagavan to do, in the 3rd chapter also he expresses the same sentiments. Na me parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta eva cha karmani. Oh Arjuna, I have nothing to accomplish in the three worlds. There is nothing I don't have that I want. Because desire is the precursor to action. There is nothing that I don't have that I want. There is nothing that I have that I want to protect from anybody. Still, I am engaged in action. Part of the reason is, if I don't do anything, everybody will become lazy and nobody will do anything. I will be setting a bad example. That is why I just inspire the people to do. So Bhagavan is not touched by Vikshepa, neither subject to Avarna. Why? Full Atma Jnanam is there for Ishvara. So not touched by Vikshepa or Avarna. What about the individual? In the spell of both. Yeah. Until Atma Jnanam takes place and one is not subject to the Avarna Shakti of Maya at the collective level. At the individual level, the Avarna may remain, but it becomes toothless. If you put your hand in the mouth of a toothless 1-month-old baby, and if it brings the jaws together, do you get hurt? No. It's actually a very pleasant sensation. Just the gums. That is how Avarna is there, but it is rendered toothless. So what do I have to do in order to lose the Atma Ajnanam? Withdraw the Vikshepa. Through Atma Jnana. Atma Jnana Prasada is the ability to withdraw the individual Vikshepa. Notions. Vikshepa is just projections, my own projections. I have to have the world this way. This is exactly how it should be. If it is not like that, I am not okay. This person is an idiot. That person is a dumbo. This person knows nothing. These are all judgments that are there. We wake up in judgment. We go to sleep in judgment. We are swimming, nay, drowning in judgment. 24/7, 365. That is what Atma Jnana Prasada is. And when that Atma Jnana Prasada is there, even though Aghatita Ghatana Patiyasi Maya, even though Maya is got one-upmanship on me, still she is not able to touch me because I have lost the Avarna. Bhagavan's Vikshepa continues, let it continue. Bhagavat Srishti, Ishvara Srishti. What do I do with my Vikshepa? I withdraw consciously. But supposing I don't do that, what happens? That is the subject matter of the next set of verses. And the next verse talks about what happens with that. And this whole Maya Panchakam talks about Maya from the level of the individual, not from the level of the Samashti. I just had to give a little bit of idea of the Samashti because otherwise it would not be, it would not make sense. So, tu aghatita ghatana, that tu is there in some places. Tu here is pada puranartham, to complete the meter. Maybe they needed a guru syllable, a heavy syllable. So therefore, pada puranartham, tu means indeed. And even if you take away the indeed, it makes no difference. Shruti Shata Nigamanta Shodhakanapi Ahahadhanadi Nidarshanena Sadhyaha Shruti Shata Nigamanta Shodhakanapi Ahahadhanadi Nidarshanena Sadhyaha कलुषयति चतुष्पादाद्यभिन्नान्. Something went wrong, so let us try it again. Kalushayati चतुष्पादादि अभिन्नान्. कलुषयति चतुष्पादाद्यभिन्नान्. अघटितघटनापटीयसी माया. श्रुतिशतनिगमान्तशोधकानपि अहह धनाधिनिदर्शनेन सद्यः. कलुषयति चतुष्पादाद्यभिन्नान्. अघटितघटनापटीयसी माया. श्रुतिशतनिगमान्तशोधकानपि अहह धनादिनिदर्शनेन सद्यः. कलुषयति चतुष्पादाद्यभिन्नान्. पटीयसी माया. Together. So Chatushpada also okay. Chatushpadadya bhinnan also okay. Yeah, pada. Yeah. So together. Shruti shata nigamanta shodhakanapi ahahadhanadhinidarshanena sadyah kalushayati chatushpadadya bhinnan aghatita ghatana patiyasi maya. So here the sentence is Maya, subject. Kalushayati. Kalushayati means corrupts. Corrupts means spoils, ruins, mixes up. What does she mix up? Who does she mixes up? Who does she corrupt? Shruti Shata Nigamanta Shodhakan api. Shodhakan is researchers. People who are scholars, researchers. Of what? Shruti Shatam, hundreds of Shrutis. Not just one Shruti they have researched. They have researched hundreds of... Shata is just a number. Shata means hundreds. But thousands of Shrutis they have researched. Kathopanishad, check. Yes, studied, analyzed. Mundakopanishad, check. Done. Been there, done that. Even vague Upanishads, like Neela Bindu Upanishad, there is a certain Bindu Upanishad. Neela Bindu Upanishad, yeah, been there, done that. And then what else, Amrita Bindu Upanishad, been there, done that. Sannyasa Upanishad, been there, done that. Been there, done that. Yes. I know everything. The person has studied, has become a bookworm. And then what? So Shruti Shata, and then not only Shruti means, we could also say the first portion of the Veda, that is also called what? Shruti. The latter portion is also called Shruti. Nigama means Veda. Nigamanta means Vedanta. That which occurs at the end of the first portion of the Veda, at the end of the Veda is called Vedanta. Why does it occur in the end? Because if it occurred in the beginning, everybody would throw away the Veda or use it to prop the furniture in the house. No other work for it. Why? Adhikaritvam has to be built up. Adhikaritvam means preparation. Preparation. Without preparation, the words of the Veda will not speak, will remain unspoken. It will go over the head like a plane. Yes, so something has gone, some noise has come, that's all. No understanding takes place. It goes over the head like a noisy aircraft without transforming the person. The person is transformed by doing. One more paradox of Veda. By doing, we come to the conclusion, by doing everything properly, we come to the conclusion that the doing is my very undoing. We grow out of the doing by dedicating the actions and the doing to Ishvara, and by accepting the results, which is karma phala, which is just a gift from Bhagavan, prasada buddhya, svikritya, then we go on to become mature enough emotionally, spiritually, to ask the following question: is life all about just the fulfillment of desires? And how many desires are there? Can't count. Countless desires. In the Devi Mahatmya, there is one Asura. His name is Raktabijasura. So she has to kill him. He stands for Kama. Raktabijasura is all metaphorical. Don't go down the Western academic route and say, oh, all your Puranas are filled with violence. No, this is all figurative. So this Raktabijasura, who is the embodiment of all kinds of desires in a person, has to be vanquished by Bhagavati. How? Without spilling even one drop of blood. Even if one drop of blood touches the floor, touches the ground, what happens? 100 others he has the ability to clone. Kama is like that. One Kama you look at even by mistake, then it says, oh, but I want this and that and that. Attached to that Kama are 99 other Kamas at least. Moghasha, Mogha Karmanaha, Mogha Jnanaha, Vichetasaha. This is exactly what we were talking about in the earlier class. All useless Kamas. One person said, I'm going to meet them somewhere and I'm going to Rishikesh. Then I said, which ashram? In the airport, sitting next to me. No, I'm not going to any ashram. So why are you going to? I thought Rishikesh people go for ashrams. Why are you going to Rishikesh? I am going to Rishikesh because I want to go from the mountain. I want to go this, what is it? Zip lining. Huh? Lining, I thought that we put under the clothes if it is transparent. I thought that's the only lining I knew. I'm learning new things every day. Zip lining. You catch hold of something and go doing like this. And then get some thrill out of it. Then I thought to myself, next life, spider. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what the spider does. Joing it goes. You see? Let's say there is a spider coming down from the ceiling. You switch on the fan. What will happen? Like this it will go. Just like this game, this sport. So like this, zip lining, and then what that, another one is there which is also spider-like kriya. What is that? Bungee cord, bungee. Yeah, bungee. Bungee cord jumping. Bungee cord jumping, you hang out from the cliff and then you go like this, up and down. Just like a spider. Yeah. This is all spider pravritti from the last life. Only two explanations, okay? In the last life, one was a spider, and then what? That samskara has not yet expressed itself. Or, in the next life, one is getting ready to be a spider. Yeah. if you are studying Vedanta and as a hobby bungee cord jumping, allowed. Okay, do it. No problem, enjoy yourself. But this is the problem. One desire morphs into thousands of desires. No end to the desire. So these are people who have studied the first portion of the Veda, qualified for Vedanta, and have also studied Vedanta. What went wrong? Can we blame the Guru? Bad Guru? No. Not bad Guru. Poor Shukracharya. He also taught the same thing as Brihaspati did. Shukracharya also taught the same thing. Only Prarabdha was not great because students were what? Asuras. You can't blame the Guru. So therefore, here something has gone horribly wrong because one important thing has not been addressed. One particular notion has not been addressed. One particular samskara has not been addressed. What is that samskara? Very interesting. It is the same samskara that was operating before one entered Vedanta. What is that samskara? Dog eat dog. This we are taught. Even the child who is non-competitive is taught. What's wrong with you? The mother will say, the father will say. You have to come first in class. The child says, why? Somebody else is coming first. Let them come first. No. You have to come first. You have to get this immediately. But all these people are in front of me. Push them. The father, mother are also pushing everybody. And the child also learns, I have to push everybody, including the father, mother. The child also learns the same thing. The society makes us learn to live in this atmosphere which is getting more and more competitive. In fact, historically, we come from a zero competition society. Zero competition. What is that? Gudu man. Yeah. The Gudu man who tells the fortune from the Damaru. He does this to the Damaru, and then you just hear some sounds. He hears the fact that you will become rich in the next year. And he will tell you that. That's how he made a living. Married the daughter of another Gudu man. And their children also became Gudu men and Gudu women. Women are also there. You can see, even now in South India. And that's how people live. It's a non-competitive society because your livelihood is assured. You don't have to stress out about how will I make my money. This is how India was. Completely, totally, 100% non-competitive. Absolutely non-competitive. But then, because of colonization and so many other things, Kali Yuga, colonization, everything. Colonization starting from Alexander not so great to not so great Britain. Okay? All of them. Thousands of years of colonization, what do we have? We just have joined the countries which have undergone the industrial revolution. Each one wants to compete with the other, and the dharma here is adharma. What is the dharma? Ends justify the means. What do I want? This particular job. How will I get it? By any means necessary. So what will I do? I will tell all the other people waiting to be interviewed, don't you know the interview has been postponed to tomorrow? Oh, really? Yeah. And what will they do? I send them all home. So I am the only one there. Oh, but this is adharma. Who cares? If any philosophy prevails in the present time, it is Charvaka philosophy. Charu vak yasya or yesham. Sweet talking people. Pushpitam Vacham, the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita will say. Yamimam Pushpitam Vacham Pravadanti Avipashtitaha. My way or the highway. This is the way to do this. Yavat Jivet, as long as you live happily. Indulge. Sukham Jivet. Rinam Kritvapi, even though you have to borrow money, make sure you have a lavish lifestyle. Ghritam Pibet, make sure you have ghee with every meal. Ghee in the ancient times, now ghee is vilified. It is just, you don't see ghee, you see just cholesterol. But in the ancient time, the sevanam of ghee was seen as a lavish lifestyle. Rinam Kritvapi, even though you have to borrow money, make sure you have a lavish lifestyle. Oh, but how will I pay back everything I have borrowed? Don't worry. Bhasmi bhutasya dehasya punaragamanam kutah. Once you die and the body is consigned to the flames, who will ask? Who will come back to face the consequences? There are no consequences. No, but what about karma? Karma, marma, it is just overrated. Forget all that. This is if we have a philosophy, that is what prevails. So everybody has this anxious catch, kill, eat mentality. This is how it is. And then this is very familiar to us. The catch, conquer, kill, eat. What did Julius Caesar said? He said 3 things. What is that? I came. And then what did you do after coming? I saw. And then what else? I conquered. This also is the catch, kill, eat mentality. First, it is the object of delight. Let's say this book is an object of delight. It is away from me. No, it has to be mine. Shoo, go away. It is mine. What are you doing here? Go away. Even if it belongs to you, now it is mine. Because the whole world is divided into 2. Mine and then, no, not yet mine. Yet to be mine. That's how the average person sees the world. Mine, not yet mine. Yet to be mine. Just look the other way. Look. Finish, snatch. So this snatch, catch, and then kill. Kill means conquer. It has to become one with me. I have to do upabhoga. I have to experience this. And then catch, kill, eat. Eat means experience. This mentality is very familiar to us from all our previous lives as animals. You look in the animal world, you look at any national, National Geographic videos. So the poor vegetarian animals are happily grazing in the Serengeti forest in Africa. And the hyena comes, the lion comes, tiger comes. The grazing animals have to keep moving because that their lunch is here. The predators, the non-veg predators also have to keep moving because the live lunch is moving. They also keep moving. And the predators, you should see how clever they are. This is all Bhagavan's, world. It is amazing. So the zebra will be doing this, just munching. First, the lion sends a text message to the other lions. Let us, go, what is that? 25%, each of us. This nice, healthy, fat zebra. Totally vegetarian. Yeah. Either you are a vegetarian or you eat vegetarians. Okay? Only 2 choices in the world. So then, we have to do a encircling. The text message, ding, 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 on all the lions' phones. The SMS is received. Even without phones, it is received. All of them slowly, like this, they corner the poor zebra. They corner it. Or the deer. Deer usually. They corner the deer. and the rest, unfortunately, is history. But sometimes, because of the prarabdha karma of the deer, it escapes. It escapes with its life. I saw one video which was fantastic. So this tiger, the deer cannot see, especially when it's misty like this, when there is not much sunlight. The deer cannot tell colors. And so the deer was happily grazing, and the tiger approached slowly from behind. The deer got help because of its prarabdha from a very unlikely source. The monkey is sitting on the tree who had no eye problems, who can see in color. They started to make a terrible noise, alerting the deer, which gave the slip to the tiger. Tiger sat there, had to sit and do some japa for the next meal. So, like this, the whole Leela in the animal world as it is going on, and we are enjoying it through National Geographic videos. I always imagine Bhagavan also must be seeing our life as a video and getting entertained and saying, look at this foolish person. We enter the spiritual realm and the catch, kill, eat mentality has not yet gone. Come to Vedanta camp, and we know it's a crowded camp. What is the first thing we do? You enter the hall and reserve a seat. This is mine. You can't be here. This is mine. Reserve a seat. Catch, kill, eat. This is what it is. Even before the bell rings, we show up in line. Why? Because I don't want to be the last in line. Because, see, all the vegetables may be gone from the sambar. And so I want to be first. Catch, kill, eat mentality. This doesn't go. Even when one comes, if one is not, one does not exercise sukshmata, that very subtle way, then, of discerning our own behavior and gaining and understanding this, cultivating, gaining Shraddha to such an extent that the message of Vedanta that I am Purna, full, without reserving a seat, I am full. Without trying to be first in line for everything, I am full. Without getting prasada one day, I am still complete. I am still full. When I understand that, then the hold of Maya lets go. I am no longer under the spell of Avarna. But these blessed souls have come to Vedanta, the ones being talked about in the second verse. Khandanam of such people who have gained the knowledge, but mostly from the standpoint of research, mostly from the standpoint of wanting to say, I have studied this, I have studied that. Pujya Swamiji had a name for this. He used to call it enlightenment ahankara. Very lovely word. He used to say this, enlightenment ahankara. Once I was with him and one gentleman came and said to Swamiji, I have studied Kathopanishad. Swamiji said, Nalladu, very good. You have studied Kathopanishad, fantastic. I have studied also Kenopanishad. He didn't say studied, I have read. I have read Kathopanishad, I have read Kenopanishad, I have read this Upanishad, this, that, kept on listing. And then he said, Swamiji, I have a question. What's your question? What shall I do now? Swamiji said, go get a job. Because obviously whatever you have studied or read has not worked to give you that sense of fulfillment. Then after that man went away, he turned to me and he said, this is what I call enlightenment ahankara. It's not, we have to be very careful of how we resolve this compound, this samasa. It's not an ahankara that comes after enlightenment. No. That ahankara is sarvatma bhava. No. It is the ahankara that thinks it is enlightened without being enlightened. So that is the lot of these people described in the second verse. Shruti Shata, after having studied within quotes, okay, not internalized, just read. Shruti Shata, thousands of Shrutis, Nigamanta Shodhaka has done research in Vedanta, has got PhD, PP, HH, DDs, so many things. Many, many degrees. And then what happens to them? Ahaha, api means again although. Ahaha, ahaha means ahaha in Sanskrit. In Tamil and South Indian languages it means ayyayo. Ayyayo. Ha, dik. Oh, fie upon them. Look at this condition, ayyayo. Ababa, ahaha, any kind of exclamation in any language, an exclamation of dismay, alas, dismay, total dismay. And what is this dismay? This the Shruti herself is disappointed at such people. The Shruti is saying, ayyayo, look at this, they have studied me and they haven't gone this. What happened? Sadhyaha. Sadhyaha means even after so much disciplined life, ashram life, everything, the catch kill mentality has not gone because suddenly, sadhyaha means without any warning, in a moment, momentarily, suddenly, without any kind of a warning, what happens? Kalushayati, these people are corrupted. Sadhyaha, in a moment, in a blink, how do they say? Blink of an eyelid. How long does it take to blink? Not even a second. A picosecond, a microsecond, a nanosecond. I think picosecond is the smallest. No, actually, the person who got the physics Nobel Prize, attasecond. That's the smallest unit now they have discovered of the second. Attasecond. So then, even in the smallest unit, suddenly they succumb. Succumb means come under the spell of the ajnanam, because the ajnanam has not gone. On top of the ajnanam, there is the vikshepa. What is the vikshepa? I am enlightened. I am already there. Pahunch gaya hu, pahunch gayi hu. This kind of a feeling is there. I have already reached. I know this, I'm okay. Like there is a certain complacency that comes which has to be avoided because one has to be very, very internally vigilant of how one moves, what one does in every moment. Be very, very, very mindful. For these people, the mindfulness, which is a prasada of humility, which is the prasada of Atmajnanam, has not come. So there is no samadarshana, there is no humility, there is no vidya, so there is no vinaya. And since there is no vinaya, there is no vigilance. There is no humility, so there is no self-vigilance. Self-vigilance and introspection comes when I see myself as somebody who's still a student, still studying, still wanting to improve. But if I feel I'm already there, then one gets careless and complacent. So, kalushayati. Kalushayati spoils, ruins. How? Dhanadi nidarshanena. Sadhyaha, immediately, momentarily. By luring them. Luring them with what? Dhanam means what? Hello? Wealth, yeah. Dhana, wealth. Wealth, etc. Wealth, etc. Adipadat, we have to say fame. This is a very important thing. Name. The person Googles themselves. Oh, 10 pages came. Oh, wonderful. I am very famous. I have. And then the ahankara identifies with new things. I have a following. Who cares if you have a following? So many people are following me. Where? On Twitter. Now it is called X or something like that. So now they are following me on Twitter. Even that becomes ahankara. So many people are following me. I have so many followers. So that thing makes one feel important. Name is important, fame is important, and one becomes a slave for money, for name, for fame, for some kind of adhipatya. Adhipatya means a certain kind of a, what is that called? Seat, a reign. Still it's not coming properly. Seat, reign, some kind of a power. Yeah, power, rulership. I have to be this adhipati, means ruler. I have to be above everybody. I have to have a position. Why do you want to have a position? What are you going to do with this position? Position is not important. Your disposition is important. Not who cares about your position. But this person cares. And so when dakshina becomes important, when the position becomes important, when all these things become important, then one becomes a slave to Maya. One starts going behind all these things, and one is still in the spell of avarna, and the author has some very harsh thing to say about them. They are non-separate from our four-footed friends. They are no better off than Chatushpad, Chatushpat, Chatushpat, Chatushpad, same thing. So, Chatushpadadi, Abhinnan. Abhinnan means non-separate from animals. In fact, we shouldn't even say that because we are insulting animals. Animals are programmed. The tiger cannot become vegetarian. It cannot sit and meditate. It is programmed to be able to predate, to have this predatory instinct. It is programmed by Bhagavan. You can't sit and do upadesha to tiger. You know what? You are killing too many people. It's not nice. Tiger is called man-eater, woman-eater also. So you can't, it is programmed. But the human being has the free will to drop these kinds of catch, kill, eat practices. In fact, the teenagers in America talk in a funny way. One boy came along with his mother and he had given an exam. So I asked the boy, how did you do in the exam? He said, Swamiji, I killed it. I got scared. I said, killed it? I looked at the mother. The mother said, no, he means he did very well. See? Catch, kill, eat mentality. This is so much part of the psyche. And if it goes even in subtle ways, unmonitored, then one becomes under the spell of Maya. One becomes to think a spell of things like name, fame, some things I can get out of people. I become, even though I am Purna, I am complete, I am whole, I become a beggar. Even though I am whole, I become a beggar. I am dependent on people for their validation. I am dependent on people to follow me, to tell me I am okay. And then I am also having this chindhi, bhindi, this is the asuri vritti, which is going to be, which was talked about which is talked about in the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Kill, cut. I wanted to make this all mine. And this way the person suffers and becomes a laughing stock because people know. One may be like the kitten which is drinking stolen milk with its eyes closed. It thinks nobody is looking. But in the kitten, this action is cute. In these kinds of people described here, the false pandits, the so-called self-styled god men, god women, etc., uncute, not cute at all. And so, very beautiful second verse of how to get over these subtle ways of not coming under the spell of Maya, For that we need Atmajnanam, and this Atmajnanam to percolate from the head to the heart. We can help ourselves by being self-introspective and vigilant. More we'll see later. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.